Podcast doesn't exist. Episode 26, 25, right? 2025. Episode 25, man. If you're a Red Sox fan, you probably want 2025 to be over. You said bring on 2026, Mitch.
Or you're like, man, we're on a roll. We're going to steamroll the Yankees.
It's a dichotomy with the Red Sox. You don't know how to feel. So I feel like half the reports say you should jump off a bridge. The other half of the reports say it's looking good. But we all know we know this from the Devers situation. There's a lot of reports coming out of Boston. I've read so many reports in the last few days. I mean, what is this, MLB or is this the Weather Channel? Come on. No, but so Devers leaves the Red Sox. You know, everyone knows this. We covered it last episode. He was traded, dealt from the Red Sox, goes to San Francisco, the Giants. Ever heard of him? And immediately says he's willing to play first base. He's there. He'll play any position he wants. And if you're a Red Sox fan, that's a kick in the balls. I wouldn't say that surprising, but definitely a kick in the balls to hear a guy who the whole issue with him being off or on your team is that he didn't want to play first base, goes to another team. I'll play whatever position I want. If it ain't the Red Sox, I'll do whatever it takes. So that hurts. We got a report coming out of Boston right after this that says Devers was actually willing to play first base in Boston, but wanted the team to commit to him and keep him at that position moving forward. The Red Sox did not do that, which is why he didn't want to play it. Another report says that there's a rift between Alex Cora and Scott Breslow, the GM, or they call him like the president or something, whatever. I don't even know what this rift would be. Like, I didn't even read that article by June Lee.
It's something about Cora's ready to win now. He's platooning rookies. He's doing everything he can to win, and Breslow's kind of looking towards the future. Like, he's not punting this season, but he's like, it's okay if we don't win the division this year. So
there's a rift. Reportedly, there's a rift between Cora and Breslow, too. Another report says that Breslow fired a scout for calling him a, quote, fucking stiff on a Zoom. So apparently he was Zooming one of his employees in a scout, and when the Zoom was over, the guy says, all right, Breslow, you fucking stiff. Guy didn't turn his mic off.
Rookie mistake. What
do you expect from a scout? I think of a scout, I think about like a 55-year-old man. I just think of the movie Moneyball and all those old fucks who like don't know how to work computers. It's probably not truly like that, but whatever. Calls a guy fucking stiff, gets fired. Sucks to suck. Another report, Red Sox made a guy go through 5 rounds of interviews and he never talked to one person. They made him do 5 rounds of AI interviews. Damaging report coming out of Boston. As we know, Devers refused to play first in San Fran. Now he goes to San Francisco. He says, quote, I'm here to play whatever position they need me to play. There's videos of him first day he gets there, he's taking ground balls at first base. Just a kick in the nuts if you're Red Sox fans. He's talking to Barry Bonds on the field, another kick in the nuts. The introduction for Rafi is hilarious. They're just like, they're blowing like smoke out of the sides. What do you call those big smoke machines? Just him walking in the stadium way before the game, just to get to his press conference. They had a crazy big celebration for him. Received a standing ovation before his first at-bat for the Giants. Hit a go-ahead double at 111 miles per hour. 2 for 5 with a double in his first game. So yeah, if you're a Red Sox fan, that seems like a lot of bad news. Guy doesn't want to play for you. He's your best hitter. You move him because he doesn't want to play first base. He goes to another team. He's down to play first base. And your freaking GM or whatever they want to call him is fucking doing weird AI stuff and getting called a stiff. Behind the scenes, it seems like a lot of people want to say that Breslow's kind of like a robotic, annoying guy. Not annoying, but just they don't like his whole energy. He doesn't have people skills. Is that what you gathered?
He seems like someone who has some of the worst people skills you can ever imagine.
It's interesting because, you look at a guy like Brett, he seems like he's like kind of more, you would expect that out of a analytics guy, kind of a dork, like I like the numbers. Rafael Devers has a bad contract, DH, no value, traded, and, doesn't know that Devers, has like human emotions. But Breslow was a player.
I mean, yeah, Devers was like, I don't get what he has out for me. He was a player. He should know better.
Yeah, he was a player, so you'd expect him to be kind of, more of a Chad GM. There's 2 types of GMs. Beta Cuck dork GM and the Chad former player GM. Buster Posey compared to, who's the biggest dork GM that you know of, that you can think of?
I can't believe I'm blanking, but the guy in Seattle who makes all the trades.
Yeah, but that guy kind of seems actually.
Wait, he's a former player though.
Maybe that's the thing. It's like GMs really you kind of think like front office people, so you would think there is like that nerdy kind of math dork kind of thing. But GMs are always like kind of just like the suave, good looking, like kind of the cool guy. They're kind of the cool guys who are good at math. GMs stereotypically are kind of just the fucking man. Not Breslow though, according to these like reports. There's a lot of reports because I got more reports for you. First of all, they did this press conference after the trade, and when all this stuff is going down, Breslow tells the media, "I think we could look back and say we've won more games than we would have otherwise because of this trade." Basically saying, "Don't count us out. I think we might be better just by getting rid of Rafael Devers."
Him saying that makes me want to root against the Red Sox the entire season.
Well, maybe there's some volition to it. There's another report, Mitchell, that when he was asked to take ground balls at first and third base this spring training, he said no and demanded a trade. So there's more reports that he actually demanded a trade out of Boston. Another report, quote, as soon as he found out they were going after Bregman, Rafi Devers wanted to be traded. That's another report. We got another quote out of Kennedy. In the end, it was pretty clear that we couldn't find alignment with Devers. We had different vision for him going forward, and we couldn't find alignment. They said alignment like 15 times. That goes back to the robot thing, because it does seem very corporate, that Red Sox, that press conference, and they use words like optimize, align. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have these kind of conversations with the corporate people, but like you talk to them. Anytime I'm in that environment, they all use kind of the same words.
Yeah, no, this was a very corporate. This is your corporate conference.
Alignment. We couldn't
Alignment.
find alignment. Like you would never say that in a real conversation unless you were like, how do we phrase this in a way that's, what's a good synonym for fuck this guy, we disagreed on everything, he was a cocky motherfucker who didn't respect anything about us, and we paid him $330 million and refused to play first base. Or you could just say we don't align. Another quote. Jarren Duran, after the news broke, said, quote, it's just a trade. It's baseball, and trades happen all the time. So apparently Duran, there was an interview with him, and then he found out Rafi was traded. They asked what you thought about it. He was like, I didn't really have time to think about it. I saw him get off the plane. I was like, damn, they traded Rafael Devers, and I just fell asleep like 5 minutes later and didn't even have time to think about it. So everyone took that as like, okay, he didn't give a fuck. No one, like maybe the Red Sox wanted him gone. It didn't seem like it bothered Jarren Duran. I heard those quotes. I don't know really if I really think that's what he was saying or if he felt like that. Who knows what he means? But yeah, to fall asleep like 5 minutes later, you think they'd like maybe have a team meeting in the back, like, guys, you see what's happening?
Yeah, I think it's very telling that one of your best players gets pulled off the team in a mid-June trade, and your first instinct is like, oh, okay, time to nap.
Well, what if they all hated Rafi Devers so much? Don't you think he gets off that plane, everyone finds out he got traded, they'd be doing shots all night, woo, party, you know?
So
or he was depressed and wanted to take a nap.
Everyone was just indifferent to Rafi Devers.
No, I'm saying if they hated him like this, people are taking this quote like the team didn't like him because Jarren Duran, or at least Jarren Duran didn't care because he got traded. He fell asleep 2 minutes later. If your boy gets traded, you don't fall asleep 2 minutes later. I would say the opposite of that, which is also a fact. If your enemy gets traded, the guy you don't want on the fucking team, you guys are having a fun plane ride. You're partying.
Yeah.
Just swept the Yankees. Rafi Devers is gone. Let's fucking go. You're not going to fall asleep after that. So I'm just saying, I'm not sure that quote from Jarren Duran or what people are trying to make it out to be. Another report. Well, this is like our 12th report already in the first 5 minutes of the pod, 10 minutes of the pod. We got at least 10 reports in 10 minutes. This is a record. More reports coming. According to another report, the team went to go, the front office, Craig Breslow and the president, they went to go talk to the team and explain why they made the trade. The team said they didn't need an explanation. They said, it's fine, guys. We get it. We don't even want these guys. David Ortiz says, nobody is indispensable. You have to be available. You need to be smart to understand the situation. Your worst enemy is your ego. I was mature enough to understand to keep things internal, saying that he wrote to Devers, trying to give him advice, but Devers has communication problems, almost never returned my messages, but I don't blame him. He's a good guy, but he definitely needs to improve his communication. Papelbon had some crazy quotes too. Papelbon was the guy who came out and said that he wanted to get traded, he wanted to leave, and that when he heard that they tried to explain to the team that why they traded him, and the team said, "We don't need an explanation," Papelbon said, "That speaks volumes to me, that he's a cancer." Now, if you also notice, all the people, obviously Breslow, the president, David Ortiz, Papelbon, who are all kind of saying this about Jarren Duran too, all kind of coming out against Rafi saying this was better for the team. If you notice, they also are all employed by the team. So we have to take that into account. It's like every single person who's come out to defend the Red Sox or say that the Red Sox are actually going to be better now work for the Red Sox. All those guys. And then there's like history with this too. And other guys leaving the Red Sox, there's hit pieces every time. What are the other hit pieces? Like this has happened to like 4 different players.
So when Francona left the Red Sox, there was a report that he was distracted by marital issues and use of pain medication. When John Lester got traded and didn't re-sign with the Red Sox released that, he had declined an extension to stay in Boston. When Mookie Betts got traded, there was another report that he declined an extension and asked for way more than what he ended up getting. And when Bogaerts opted out, there was a report that he saw the Red Sox extension offer as a slap in the face.
Yep. So, I mean, that's been pointed out. Every time someone leaves the Red Sox, there's some report, some articles coming out saying, like, well, this is what really happened, and the guy kind of fucked up the organization. Kind of suspicious. That doesn't really happen.
Either they're being lazy or greedy or selfish or whatever.
Yeah. Manny Ramirez went the opposite, former Red Sox. Come on, Boston. Why you do my guy like that? Don't treat the face of the team like that. Pedro Martinez called out Big Papi, said Big Papi was out of pocket. Because Big Papi has like been the one guy who's kind of come off against Devers the most, kind of saying like, he did it to himself. His ego got too big. You got to listen to your boss or whatever. Pedro Martinez says that's bullshit. He said he was a team player. You can't tell me that Rafi Devers was a bad influence. If you do, you're lying. Another funny thing, there's like David Ortiz basically admitted to it. Like David Ortiz in an Instagram live goes, "You employees, go against the check signer, see if you're going to last 2 days. I did everything they told me to, and today I'm earning a lifetime salary from the Red Sox, and everybody there loves me." Like, I'm reading that now. I'm like, was that really? Did he really say that? That's a crazy thing to say. Everyone's like being like, "Yeah, Big Papi, no shit. You're saying that Rafi Devers is a cancer. Like, you work for the team. You're employed by him. You have to say that." And he goes, "Listen, you're employees. You got to go with your check signer. I did everything they told me to, and today I'm earning a lifetime salary, and everybody there loves me." It's hilarious. Like him admitting to it without admitting it.
If I was getting, I don't even know how much he's getting, I would also toe the company line.
You got to toe the company line. Or you can be a fucking mega Chad alpha dog like Pedro Martinez and say, "Fuck your money. I don't even want to be involved." Actually, I think Martinez was actually felt a little disrespected that they didn't ask him to check in on Devers, and that he could have went to talk to Devers and he could have smoothed things out with Devers, but they didn't ask him, and Big Papi did it the wrong way because Big Papi doesn't have the swag that Pedro Martinez does. So there's both ends of the angles right there. There's certain things, honestly, everyone who's kind of going against Rafi kind of works for the Red Sox. And also that thing about how he actually asked for a trade. Like Papelbon said, he asked for a trade as soon as they try to get Bregman. Everyone knows this. The reporters know that. Then it's like, why the fuck wasn't that reported? There was reports that he didn't ask for a trade. And then I just read you 20 reports. Anything that anyone gets on this topic in Boston media, they're running with this shit. It's not like, well, I don't know if I really want to put this out there. It's like all those guys are cutthroat. This guy, June Lee, had the hit piece of the century on the Red Sox, which is, I don't mean it's actually not a hit piece, but like got all this internal information about how basically talking to everybody who has a problem with how that front office is running, and there seems to be a lot of issues. But you don't get that out of a lot of teams. Certain markets, you get that. Certain markets, you don't. Boston, you get that. There's a culture of people caring about baseball and sports and reporters digging deep and not being afraid to be like, yeah, John Lester was eating fried chicken in the clubhouse during games and whatnot. So you can't really convince me that Devers asked for a trade, but that just never was reported, and Papelbon is the guy who knows it. Sorry, Pap. Sorry, Pop. I don't believe that shit. However, we got to be fair, because since Devers left, Red Sox 2-1, baby. Red Sox are 2-1 since Devers left. They've won 9 out of their last 11 games. Second best record in baseball in June, the Red Sox. Their playoff odds have tripled in a week. That's 12% to 36%. They went from 8.5 games back to 4.5 games back and are in a wild card. How the fuck are they in a wild card spot and only have a 36% chance to make the playoffs? That doesn't make sense to me.
A lot of teams being right next to each other.
Yeah, the American League is a shit show, huh? It's a clusterfuck. And we got a new platoon in Boston. I saw this. It was pretty interesting. And this is probably some of the lines of what Breslow was thinking when he made this trade. The new platoon, so instead of Devers, that's what Red Sox fans were throwing out Rob Refsnyder and Masataka Yoshida as the new platoon for their DH. Refsnyder against lefties, bats 314 with a 991 OPS. 168 WRC plus. Masataka against righties, 310 with a 134 WRC plus. So both of them, if you combine them, that could be Rafael Devers numbers. Now, I don't know if a Rob Refsnyder and Masataka Yoshida DH platoon really excites you. But looking at those numbers, which was their splits in 2025 and 2024, maybe behind the scenes they do get better if those guys hit like that.
I mean, Refsnyder's been hitting like that with the Red Sox since he joined the team in 2022. I'm looking at his stats right now. Aside from 2023, I see a 146 WRC plus, a 130, and a 145 WRC plus. So if he hit lefties, if he only hit against lefties, he's the best hitter in baseball. Like top 15.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Why do you need Devers? You got Rob Refsnyder and Masataka Yoshida, who hasn't played since 2024. But
people aren't sure if he even exists anymore.
He might not be alive. He might have went back to Japan and said, fuck America. And I don't blame him, man. Japan is beautiful. Never been, never will. Just kidding. I might. Koshin?
WBC next year?
That would be actually sick. I'd rather go to the Koshin than the WBC, though. If I was going to go to the WBC, I'd rather go in Japan, but I'd just go in America.
I'm just saying, if we don't go as a team next year, I might be going
by yourself.
By myself.
I don't know. I might ban you from that just because I think that'd be a little like if I don't get to go, then you don't get to go. It's kind of how it works in a corporate structure that we have it here.
Do we have a bad alignment right now?
Very bad. I mean, if you do that, that is not aligning with the baseball doesn't exist ethics. It's on the wall. If Joey doesn't get to do something, you shouldn't do it either because it's fucked up. It's like Aiden getting married during the playoffs. That piece of shit. Anyway. But fuck, man. 2-1 since Devers left. I mean, Red Sox fans, I think part of them, most of them are probably fuck the organization. This trade killed them. But like they're kind of talking themselves in, hey, maybe we get hot at the right time. And people are saying, why would you trade him when we have all this momentum? Now you're going to kill the momentum. Maybe that was the perfect time to trade it because then you win the next 2 out of 3. And now you look at them, they won 9 of the last 11 games. They have so much momentum. We don't even need Devers now. That was maybe the perfect time to do it. Vibes are high. I will say, though, their playoff odds dropped 5% on the calculations as soon as Devers left, even though they won. Just 5% drop, just without having him on the team. So to say that you guys have a better chance to make the playoffs without Devers, statistically speaking, is never going to really add up.
It's going to look really bad, too, if Devers goes to San Francisco and he gets even better. Like, his stats with Boston were weighed down by that first week where he could not hit a baseball. But since then, like, he's been phenomenal. And it looks like he's carried that over to San Francisco. So it's going to look terrible if you can't match that production at DH.
Yes, Trout did hit a home run, baby.
Wow.
Let's go. It will. Well, we're going to be able to see it because we got a 3-game series in San Francisco this weekend, which will be exciting to see. I would love to see him. I wish it was in Boston. I'd be very curious to see what the Fenway Park reaction to Devers. I'd assume they give him a standing O because obviously he didn't mean to leave. I think most Red Sox fans are kind of on his side. I would say
Even
at
if
least
they're
on
not
Twitter.
100% on his side, they're still mostly because Breslow's
Yeah.
so bad at communicating.
It's more of like maybe they put like 25-30% blame on Devers and the rest on the Red Sox. So and then by default of him being a good player for you for so many years, won a World Series with you, I think you default to the standing ovation. But it's kind of like when Freddie came back to Atlanta. When the time Freddie got back to Atlanta, like there's so much shit came out. Like Braves fans were mad at Freddie just because all this shit came out.
They
But
still cheer for him though.
I know, but that's what I'm
bad.
saying. That's what I'm saying is that even though you don't, you might not fuck with him that much right now, you still you can't boo Freddie Freeman. He was the king of Atlanta Braves, the poster child, the golden goose for 10 years. You can't erase that because of 2 weeks of bad press. I guess you'd boo Freddie Freeman.
I think now that he's won a championship with another team, I think Braves fans
should boo Freddie Freeman,
or should at least not give him a standing ovation every time he's back in Atlanta.
Interesting. That's pretty savage, but Mitchell doesn't fuck around. You disobey him, you fucking disrespect him, he doesn't forget. Do you forgive?
Nah. If Freddie's a free agent in a couple of years, if he doesn't re-sign with the Dodgers, maybe I forgive him.
I heard Unc saying that's bullshit. I would never let him back in. Sorry, I don't think that was Unc. I think that was someone else. I don't want to put words in Unc's mouth because that does not sound like something Unc would say. But yeah, Red Sox are hot as fuck, and it sucks because the Yankees are not hot as fuck. The Yankees right now about to get swept by the Angels. It's 1-1 in the first inning, so they might not get swept. But I mean, that would be. I think it's a 4-game series, right? Have they lost 3 to the Angels already, or just 2? I know they lost at least 2.
Damn. This is a 4-game series. They've lost
3 in a row.
3 in a row to the Angels. They got shut out by Kyle Kendrick.
9
strikeouts.
Kyle Hendrick. Yeah.
Hendricks. I think it's really confusing. I mix those two pitchers up all the time.
Kyle
Kendricks was the guy who got pranked by the Phillies.
Yes.
Kyle Hendricks is the Cubs.
And then they also
legend.
And then you also loop in Kyle Gibson, who might as well be Kyle Hendricks. Same fucking guy. Same vibe.
Same vibe.
Right, so they played
style.
Played for the same teams. I gotta believe.
Yeah.
They both played for a bunch of teams.
I mean, Kyle Hendricks has only played for the Cubs.
And, Kyle Hendricks only played for the Cubs.
And the Angels.
I apologize. And the Angels now.
But Kyle Kendrick has played, I think he played.
I'm talking about Kyle Gibson now.
Kyle Gibson has played for 50 teams.
I saw him strike out 10 for the Orioles 2 years ago. I'll never forget.
They are very similar vibes.
Yep, he's a handsome guy, bro. Pause. Yankees right now. Yankees are 42-31. All right, they are 11 games over 500. They got the second best record in the AL. But Aaron Judge this year, he's had 16 games where he has 0 hits. The Yankees are 7-9 in those games. When he doesn't get an extra base hit, they are 19-18. If he doesn't reach base, that rarely ever happens. But the 8 games he didn't reach base, Yankees are 2-6. Judge, by runs scored and RBIs, accounts for 26.7% of all Yankees runs this season. All right, but what happens when Aaron Judge sucks? It's because Aaron Judge the past week
has been horrible.
And, like I said, that doesn't happen often. I went back and looked at this because I knew that the Yankees were struggling, and I knew Judge was struggling. I was wondering, how much of effect does Judge struggling have on the Yankees? So I went back to let's see if he has any slumps. It's I couldn't find a slump. This is the only time all year he's been in a slump, and it's been 6 games. His last 6 games, he is 2 for 23. That's a .087 batting average with 14 strikeouts, Mitchell. 14 strikeouts in 23 at-bats. Slugging .377, 0 extra base hits. 1 home run during that time. So, yeah, 2 for 23. And during those 6 games, the Yankees are winless. 0-6. They got shut out for 3 straight games. First time that happened since 2016. They haven't scored. They didn't score. They went on a 30-innings consecutive scoreless streak. 30 innings without scoring a run. They finally scored a run against the Angels last night, but then blow it on an Anthony Volpe error. And I gotta say, it's not surprising, but the Yankees really are, without Judge, a terrible team.
I thought you were going to say it's not surprising that they're struggling. And I was like, what?
I
Dude,
mean,
they've scored like 6 runs in the last week.
yeah, that's very surprising. But you look at Judge's numbers, and that makes a little more sense. Like, this team without Judge sucks, dick. No offense. Excuse my French. I respect the Yankees, everything they've done for baseball, and everything like that. But they suck a dick when Judge is not playing well.
I mean, everyone right now basically looks like a a single A player who just got called up to the majors. Their whole offense. Like Giancarlo Stanton and Jazz Chisholm, when I checked yesterday, were the only guys who were not god-awful hitters in the last week.
Wait, when is Giancarlo Stanton came back?
Yeah, his elbow's healed.
Let's go. Tennis elbow healed. Like, and this is the third best team in the league in offense. So maybe I'm being a little too hard on them, but like, seriously take Aaron Judge out of this equation. And how good of a team is this really? I mean, Aaron Judge has been so unbelievably insane this year. Second best offensive season in history if it ended like whenever we looked at that was like 2 weeks ago. In terms of OPS. He's got 5.2 wins above replacement already this year. So like you can just do that simple calculation. -5 wins from the Yankees right now. Where are they? Dude, the Yankees, if you -5 wins from the Yankees, they're in 4th place right now in the AL East.
I mean, the Rays just cannot lose. They were down by 8 runs yesterday.
The Rays
they still won.
The Rays are amazing.
So,
and they don't have one player.
We butchered a bunch of their players' names last episode. Got a couple of comments on that. Yeah, but like, I don't know if the Yankees have much more leeway in this cold streak.
I mean, when you say leeway, what do you mean? I would say the Yankees in that, you know, it's not that strong of a league. Like, they still look at, like, who's the best team in the AL. Like, you would, you know, you could say, I might say the Yankees. Like, I would either say them or the Tigers, who I trust the most. But, you know, a big part of that is obviously Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is the best hitter in baseball of the decade. And you have him. It's just crazy. When he sucks, like, they're going to suck. And then you look at his playoff repertoire and kind of like his clutch question marks, which, hey, I don't know. I'm not disrespecting anybody. I'm just saying you look at the history. Come playoff time, like, I'd be a little worried because you're relying on this one player so much. Last year was different because you went into the playoffs and you had Juan Soto. And you had Giancarlo Stanton, who played like Juan Soto. But now you don't got Juan Soto, and you got Giancarlo Stanton, but he's got 2 bad elbows. And it's not like they have nobody on the team, but I would say a lot of these guys on the Yankees have probably outperformed what you'd expect early on in the season.
Yeah, I feel like
Goldschmidt,
I don't know if he's still batting like .540 against lefties, but at one point, within the last 2 or 3 weeks, he was batting .540 against lefties. I don't know how sustainable that is.
I think Jazz Chisholm's having like the best offensive season of his career, or at least the best season of his career, definitely. Trent Grisham, forever. Trent Grisham has a 124 OPS plus. Like, all these guys' numbers have really deflated over the past week. It's been a fucking tough week for the Yankees. Ben Rice for a while was just like carrying them. Can't say carry because the Judge is always carrying, but Ben Rice was one of the best hitters in the league for a little bit. Cody Bellinger's had a good season. I don't think you look at all those guys and kind of think, oh yeah, no matter what. But I mean, you got Goldschmidt, so Goldschmidt's going to hit. Or like, but Cody Bellinger's going to hit. Like, all these guys have shown. Okay, Paul Goldschmidt, Jazz Chisholm, Trent Grisham, Ben Rice, Cody Bellinger. Those are kind of the guys you have behind Judge. They're best hitters behind Judge. Every single one of those guys have shown over a stretch of their career, an extended stretch of their career, that they were an average to below average hitter, you know?
Yeah, I'm just looking at these numbers, and you're right. Within the last week, a lot of this has been deflated.
I think it's time to fire the manager.
Fire Booney?
Yeah, fire Booney. That's what Yankees fans just default to. Fire the fucking manager. 6 games losing in a row. Fire the manager, man.
I think we have a manager on the hot seat.
Who?
Not
Davey Johnson.
Davey Martinez.
Sorry, Davey Johnson.
Wrong national.
They might
manager.
hire Davey Johnson's old ass again, dude.
Do you think the Nationals will pull what the White Sox did last year, where they like wait for their team to win a game, and then they fire the manager?
I don't know if it will hit the same. Yeah, can you fire a World Series winning manager? The Braves have already faced that question earlier on in the season. They withstood the heavy waters.
How much leeway do you think winning a World Series has? Like,
I
Joe
think
Girardi took a
lot.
lot.
Well, Joe Girardi was Yankees, bro.
True.
That's a different story. We're talking about the Washington Nationals.
Joe Madden,
and
did he leave? He just left, didn't he?
And it's not like the Nationals were expecting to be good this year. They definitely expected or wanted to be better than this. The Nationals have lost 11 games in a row. But that's what I'm saying. We already know.
3 straight games to the Rockies.
They're getting swept by the Rockies right now. Was it already 3? They're playing right now, right?
Yeah, this is game 4.
Damn, bro. 4-game sweep for the Rockies. Shout out to the Rockies who playing some good ball.
Rockies have the 3rd best offense this month.
So they hit what? Because they got to play the Braves that one game. And
dude, that terrified me.
They hit 7 home runs in one game against the Nats. That's tough. That's tough for the Nats. But you can't blame coaching. You already heard from David Martinez. You can't blame the coach.
You can never blame coaching.
Don't blame the coaching. James Wood, though, I bet him to hit his over on home runs. He already hit it for the season. 17.5 home runs was his total.
That was the over?
Yep, and I got it. I got it, baby. Woo! Yeah. I'm pretty smart. You want to do an ad read?
Go for it.
We have an ad today, and I really appreciate it. This is our second ad read of all time, and if we don't sell a lot of their products, we'll never get another one.
No, Jack. If you guys want Jack back, you got to listen to this ad read.
Jack is not here for the second episode in a row. We're really starting to worry about him in this holdout. We're in the middle of negotiations.
And it is dependent on this ad read.
Yeah, so if you want Jack back, buy a fucking Ridge wallet. If you want Jack Schwartz back on the pod. Also, it's like a lot of people in the comments, I asked what their thoughts were. Everyone wants Jack back. Dude, you're not going to fool me, dude. That's definitely Jack's accounts saying that shit. No one in
Jack has like 50 accounts.
Oh, the guy has all the time in the world over there in Western Virginia. Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Filming a fucking bullshit movie that we'll all watch together.
He's really holding out in Western Virginia.
Yeah, he's got all the time in the world camping out there doing a movie, and then they have nights off. He's just making fake accounts saying like, yeah, I miss Jack on the podcast.
Jack's the best. Jack's the glue of the podcast.
Well, if you're not Jack and you actually want Jack back, buy a Ridge wallet. Ridge wallet. This is our second sponsor, man, and I really appreciate Ridge wallet. I have a Ridge wallet. I'll tell you that much, and I use this motherfucker. I just started using it because they sent me one. I don't have it with me, but it's sleek, thin, can fit shit. You feel kind of like a Navy SEAL rocking with one of these. It feels cool, and they have like 40 different colors. It says there 50 colors and styles because they sent me. They're like, which one do you want to pick? And I was looking at the colors. I was like, damn, the blue ones. They have this teal blue one with the orange. It looks so sick. And it comes with this thing that you put your key on. Badass keychain. Badass keychain you put your key on. It's very tactical and practical, brother. Because I know big wallets. I was a big wallet guy forever, right? And I would always look at something like this and be like, that's bullshit. Who wants a skinny little fucking wallet like that? Me, because you have these big wallets that get fucking, you got your jeans, you put them in the front pocket, it's bulgy as shit. You know, you can only fit, let's say you carrying around Zins or something, or you got keys and you got a knife or whatever. You know, what I usually carry, like a gun, a Glock, all types of stuff. Real tactical. That's how I keep it tactical when I walk around. Yeah, putting all that shit in your pockets, and you got to put a big fat wallet in your, because you can't put it in your back pocket. You can, but then you sit down, it's shit. And it's bad for your back too. You know that shit actually fucks your back up? Like if you put your wallet in your back pocket and you sit on that regularly, like on hard chairs, like that will fuck your back up. And you'll get crooked because it's like one ass cheek is like bigger than the other. But with Ridge Wallet, you don't have to worry about that. Slim design, baby. I'm reading the ad read. They're like trying to get it for your dad, even though Father's Day's over. Is your dad still wrestling with what looks like have been through a few wars?
Well, they still have an extended Father's Day sale.
Oh, shit.
So if you forgot to get your dad a present,
tell me about the sale.
It's 40% off. Extended Father's Day sale on ridge.com. And so if you really want to be a good child and get your dad something even though you're late.
Do you have a Ridge?
I do not.
Well, we have to get Mitch. Because here's the thing about a Ridge, too. A lot of people like their wallets and they're like they're addicted to them. No, they have like a tie to them. You don't want to get a new wallet, right? I know that. Well, that's like, you already got a wallet. Shit works. You can have 2 wallets. These are good for like, you can switch out some certain shit. Like you're going out, you don't want a big ass wallet, you're carrying around all that shit. You want your whole wallet. All you need is an ID, credit card, and some cash or something. You switch it out to a Ridge, then you have a practical wallet. You can have 2 wallets. And then like you can have 2 IDs, one from different countries. And you can get on different planes and steal someone's identity to have 2 different wallets and whatnot. These are all ideas. But right now, just in time for Father's Day, we're having a huge sale, Ridge Wallet. Get up to 40% off your order at ridge.com/ let's make sure we get the code right. This is the second time in a row. /BDE. That is ridgewallet.com/BDE. Just head to ridgewallet.com/BDE to find the first perfect gift for your dad or yourself when you check out. They'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that podcast doesn't exist. Sent you. Give dad the upgrade he deserves this year. So that's an extended Father's Day sale. 40% off, motherfuckers. Please. 40% off. Who says no?
And if you really want to support your team, they also have team logo designs.
Yeah, at least go on the website and check out the designs. You'll like them. There's 50 different colors. God, I mean, there's no way you don't like one of them. So get a Ridge wallet or die. Get a Ridge wallet or Jack is not coming back. That motherfucker. You know who MLB cannot get rid of Aroldis Chapman. I was looking at Aroldis Chapman's numbers. Just I wasn't thinking about it. I saw Aroldis Chapman pitch in Atlanta. I said that guy still looks fucking insanely scary. Shut the Braves out. That wasn't saying much at that time. Braves are back, by the way. Whatever. We'll get that later. But Aroldis Chapman. I mean, all right. Everyone knows he shot a gun at a woman. All right, that's old news. Listen, MLB cannot get rid of this guy. He is 37 years old. He's still the scariest pitcher in baseball. He's throwing 104 miles per hour. He's throwing 104 mile per hour sinkers right now, Mitchell. Did you see that clip of him throwing 104 mile per hour sinker?
I'm looking at it right now.
It's insane. At 37 years old, 104. He's having the best year of his career right now. You want to hear some insane shit? Out of all the 103 mile per hour fastballs ever tracked in MLB history, Chapman has thrown 48% of them.
That is truly insane.
Half of the fucking 103 plus mile per hour fastballs were from him. Okay, but now he's throwing a sinker. It's fucking everybody up. No one knows what to do against a sinker because Chapman forever is throwing 119 miles per hour and it's a fastball. That's impossibly hard to hit, but now shit's biting. So he's throwing a sinker, but it's just as fast as his fastball. It's cutting in on people. Everybody's getting fucked up by it. He's got the lowest ERA of his career right now. It's a 1.50 because he stopped walking people. So all of a sudden, Aroldis Chapman, who was the scariest pitcher in baseball because he's doing 105, didn't know where it was going, just randomly at 37 years old, just cut his walks in half. I think last year he was at a 15% walk rate. Now he's at a 7.5. And that's the difference. That's what's going to make you just extend your career like crazy because his whip right now is like an 8.3 whip and a 1.5 ERA. Aroldis Chapman without walking people is a scary sight to see. Because he's throwing 104. Is the stuff as nasty it was as in his peak? Probably not. But if it's in the strike zone, it might be better. He's throwing a 100 mile per hour pitch 16 seasons in a row. All right. So he's been on the IL 8 times, but only 3 of those were with elbow injuries.
Or arm related at all.
He got a bad tattoo. I remember that.
Yeah, his bad tattoo. He spent more time on the IL for a bad tattoo than he has for an elbow issue.
Yeah, unfortunately, that definitely was not the actual story. I don't believe that story.
You don't believe that his tattoo was oozing out and he couldn't walk properly?
No. But I mean, Aroldis Chapman might be better now or scarier now than he was when he entered. Look at a picture of Aroldis Chapman when he entered the league. And then look at a picture now, like he's scarier now than he ever has been.
I mean, he was a twig. When
he was a twig throwing 105 miles per hour, 106 miles per hour, skinny 150-year-old, 150-pound man. Now he's 37. He's a grown-ass fucking bodybuilder, still throwing 104, but now it's sinking on your hands like a bowling ball. 37 years old, he's throwing 104 miles per hour. What's your excuse if you're under 37 years old? My shoulder hurts. I'm 27.
I'd love to see how fast I can throw. I think I could get maybe half of what Chapman can throw. Maybe.
50.
You think I could hit 52? I don't know.
I have to say, I think you could. I got faith. I mean, you can podcast help and you can podcast produce. They're calling you the two-sword samurai. You're on
The
your
Otani of podcasting.
You're the two-sword samurai of the podcast game. But now, is he a three-sword samurai? Can he pitch too? We'll find out later. We'll bring out the ruler next episode. But there's a lot of other news in the league, boys and girls. The Reds have surpassed the Brewers and Cardinals. The NL Central is just the most hilarious division ever created, bro. It's like every week they're like, oh, watch out for this team, just won 10 in a row. So like you thought the Cardinals were going to suck this year. Guess what? They're actually in second place. Oh, you thought the Brewers were doing bad? Well, they just won 8 in a row. So that's good enough to make them in second place. And now it's the Reds' turn. The Reds are 9-2 since June 6th. Second best record in baseball since June 6th. Their last 11 games, 9-2. They just swept the Diamondbacks, or they just swept them. That was last.
No, that's the first of the run. So they swept the Diamondbacks, and then they got to face the AL Central, and they have dominated the AL Central.
And how's Francona's mouth doing?
No news on the teeth, so I'm assuming fine.
But it looks like they're having fun playing with Francona now. That's a guy that it seems from the outside looking in would be a really fun manager to hang out with or play for. He seems like a nice, fun guy.
I don't know how Ohio of all states got 2 fun managers. Like, I don't know. Have you been to Ohio?
Never been to Ohio, no.
Yeah.
How do they get all these good managers in Ohio?
How? I don't get it.
There must be something in Ohio.
This is totally not a Michigander, like, pseudo-Michigander bias from me, but, like, Ohio?
Why do you want to go to Ohio, right? Like, Francona went out of retirement, left his fucking wife and kids.
To go to the other Ohio.
Go to Ohio?
To go back?
It just means something else, man. He wanted to manage this Reds team. What do you got on the Reds? What about the Reds has impressed you?
They're hitting. Right now, their pitching is whatever. Hunter Green is former best pitcher in baseball award. He's injured. He's got a groin injury, and then he also has a back injury.
How long has he been out?
So a couple of weeks now, and
he came back. He got injured, and then came back, and then got injured again.
Yeah. So if you're a Reds fan, that's kind of scary because you got Andrew Abbott, and he's pitched really. Did you know Andrew Abbott has a sub-2 ERA?
No, I knew that. I hung out with my friend's friend who went to the same high school as him, and then his mom was the swim coach.
Oh, so you've just been keeping tabs on Andrew Abbott all year?
This girl the other day, like last weekend, was like, do you know Andrew Abbott? I'm like, yeah, I know Andrew. Duh. Who doesn't know Andrew Abbott? She's like, yeah, he went to my high school. His mom was the swim coach. It's like, that's good to know. She said his mom was real fucking disciplined when it came to swimming. Like, she wouldn't let him play baseball, didn't want him to play baseball because she wanted him to swim.
Maybe that improved his arm strength.
I know he's got a fucking like militant Nazi ass mom. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't say I didn't say that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't say having a Nazi mom makes you better at baseball. I mean, strict, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Strict. Which is good. I'm saying it's a good thing. But shout out to Andrew Abbott from Virginia. That's where I'm from, so I like.
Oh, is he from Virginia?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so the rest of their starting pitching is pretty mid. Brady Singer hasn't done much. Nick Lodolo had a bad start recently that makes his overall numbers look bad. And I don't think anyone's trusting Wade Miley or Nick Martinez. But hitting wise,
especially if it gives you Percocet.
Yeah.
Don't trust that. Don't trust that.
If you want to be really sad, look that up. But yeah, Ellie De La Cruz has been probably the best shortstop in baseball this month.
Respect.
TJ Friedel, the guy who looks like a huge slap hitter, has 4 home runs this in the last 13 days. And Austin Hayes, he's had a career year with the Reds. He's been on the IL. He's coming back soon, so their offense might get it even better. They have the 4th best offense since they started going on this run. So in about 3 weeks, we'll be talking about how the Pirates are going to be the 2nd best team.
They're the one team.
Central.
They're the one team left to go on a nice little winning streak and enter themselves into the discussion of the NL Central.
It's funny, like the Cubs are just in the safe zone in first place. They're easily in first. I don't think we talk about the Cubs enough, but like they've built so much of a gap between the rest of the Central where they're like, yeah, they're good.
Well, they're just way better of a team than all these teams. I mean, no offense to the Reds. Love what you've been doing lately. Love the Francona addition. I love Andrew Abbott, Ellie De La Cruz, but like you don't really look at them as a powerful force. Same thing with the Cardinals when they went on that crazy run. Even when they won 11 games in a row, it was like we weren't talking about the Cardinals like they were real contenders. And the Brewers, same thing with them. And the Brewers just lost a few. Who did the Brewers just kind of get embarrassed by? Either way, the AL Central is what it is. But the Reds, shout out to them, are the Reds. So the Reds are a half game back of a playoff spot right now. And so are the Brewers, and the Cardinals are 1 game back. So it's like you can say they're not the best teams, but look at what they're at. It's a clusterfuck.
It's really going to be who goes on that run in September.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you want my honest opinion on it, I don't think any of these teams make the playoffs. I don't think Reds, Brewers, or Cardinals make the playoffs. I think Cubs will win the division. I don't think any of those teams get in because you're competing against the Phillies. Now the Braves are coming on. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. I'm just saying there's a shot. AA says we're not selling. Then you got the Giants who just added Devers. They're not going to win their division, so that's a wild card spot. And the Padres, who are also in a wild card spot, and you take the Padres over all 3 of those teams every day of the week, motherfuckers. So Phillies, Giants, Padres, and the Braves, you're going to have to be better than 2 of those teams. I think it's really an uphill battle if you're the Reds, Brewers, and Cardinals, the way your contracts, your rosters are constructed. But that's the thing about the NL Central. And then the NL is just so beefy this year, so you almost can't blame them. But all these team strategies in the offseason and how they run their organizations is like, let's just be good enough to win the Central, which isn't that hard of an ask the last few years. Who won the Central last year? Brewers.
Yeah, I feel like it's been Brewers.
Yeah, the Brewers have been winning it, but you don't look at the Brewers like they've had an insanely good stretch over the past few years. They haven't won a playoff series since.
They definitely had like we're just the best team in the Central, but it's not like we're actually that good going for them probably since, I don't know, 2021.
Yeah.
But this year, the Cubs as constructed are actually a fairly good team.
Yes. You got to give your respect to the Cubs. And they've done a lot of this too lately without Shoutout Imanaga, who's I'm going to assume coming back soon. And then you go to the other Central, the AL Central. For a while, we were calling them the best surprise in baseball, best division in baseball to start the season. They are not good division anymore.
No,
I mean, it happened quickly. I want to say the past 2 weeks, but like the Cleveland Guardians are 4-6 over the last 10. Not terrible. They're in second place with a negative run differential. Twins have lost 6 in a row. They've fallen off a cliff. They're 2-8 over the last 10. The Kansas City Royals, you thought Castellanos was going to inject some life into them. Not really. They're 3-7 over the last 10, and he hasn't done much lately, or ever, since getting called up. He's still trying to look for that first home run. And then you got the White Sox. So everyone in this division, I would say underachievers, other than the Tigers.
Yeah, this month, the Twins have the 2nd worst record in baseball. The White Sox have the 3rd worst record in baseball. The Royals have the 4th worst record in baseball. And the Guardians, with 1 more win, have the 10th worst record in baseball. The Tigers are really... People are like, we don't talk enough about the Tigers. And it's really just like, they're so far ahead. You've got Scooble. You've got some good players, but like, I don't know how much people want to hear about Winslow Perez's home run rampage.
Yeah, the Tigers got to the point where they're too good that they're boring, which is crazy how fast that happened. They're too good that they're boring, where it's like they're just going to keep winning. Like you already know the Tigers are in the playoffs. You already know they're going to win this division. They're 9 games up right now.
And you trust that 9 games up too.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel fluky. You feel really solid in their lineup. AJ Hinch does a really good job at making sure the right player is hitting in the right spot. And then like their rotation's good enough. They're missing Jackson Jobe. He was a rookie who was doing okay. He's having Tommy John. But otherwise, I mean, Scooble, Flaherty, Mize, you feel pretty good about those 3.
Scooby and Mize. I mean, I feel really good about Scooble and Flaherty. Very good about Scooby Snacks and Flaherty. Maybe they trade for Chris Sale and get a 3rd. Or maybe not. But yeah, the Tigers have reached, it was kind of like the Braves a few years ago, like when the Braves would just keep winning every time. And Unless you're the Dodgers, like the Dodgers are the same way. The Dodgers for years were just the best team in baseball every year. And until Shohei got there, that changed everything. Now you talk about them no matter what because the star power. But like, in 2023 Dodgers, when they won 100 and whatever games and won the division by 20 games, it wasn't like we're going to have to do a segment on the Dodgers every episode. It's just like the team is good, as is what it is. But it's also a scary place to be in. Because you feel so good all year round. Like, the Tigers have their feet up, chilling. We could go to the beach this series. We don't even have to play. We could get swept. We're still chilling. Then you get in the playoffs, and it's time to go. We'll see. We'll see, man. The AL is a clusterfuck. Like, even I said, Royals and Twins, how bad they've been lately. They're 2 and 1.5 games back of a playoff spot. So nobody's out of it. The Angels are a half game back, 1.5 games back of a playoff spot right now. The Angels. And they win today. 4-game sweep of the Yankees. Is it time to say it?
They're back?
The Angels are back. Saying the Angels are back is like the funniest shit ever. It's like back from what? From 2002?
They last made the playoffs in what, 2015?
They're back, dude. The fucking bring back the rally monkeys are coming back. The Angels we all know and love. The 2015 Angels got swept in the DS, I will believe. Mike Trout got 1 hit, his only playoff hit. Respect it. Mike Trout's been good, though. Mike Trout, since he came back. We're not going to get the whole story because these stats haven't updated. He already hit a home run today. But don't sleep on the Angels. I mean, you can sleep on the Angels. I don't think the Angels are going to make the playoffs. But it is fun to look at him and say a half game back, a game and a half games back.
I was doing a triple take on the standings when you just said that.
Yeah, I mean but look at it now. Speaking of a team that has been so good that they get boring, that's the Houston Astros the past 4 or 5 years. And once again, they're in first place. They're pulling ahead. You look at the fucking Astros are 5.5 games up in that division now.
It feels like 3 weeks ago where we're like, yeah, the Mariners kind of feel like the safe AL West pick, and they've fallen on their face.
Oh, yeah, probably because Big Dumper isn't hitting like Aaron Judge anymore.
He's just hitting like a really good player.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like the reason why the Mariners are good is their offense was playing like they were the freaking 23 Braves. But they don't have a good offense on paper. Like, that was their whole weakness last few years, which is like why they didn't make the playoffs or barely made the playoffs or didn't do anything in the playoffs because the offense sucked. And then all year this year, they had like a top 10 offense. I'm going to assume the reason why they're not playing good is because the offense fell off. And I'm going to assume a big part of that is because the Big Dumper.
I mean, he's done okay.
He's done okay.
It's just that if you were relying on Cal Raleigh to have a 240 WRC plus, then your team is probably not actually that good.
Mm-hmm. So Mariners need to shape up because the Astros. I mean, fuck. Why are the Astros good? They shouldn't be this good. They shouldn't be 5.5 games up in the division at this point, based on who they have.
This is definitely a blink and you missed it, and I blinked and I missed it moment. Because I'm looking at the Astros, and I mean, they've got your boy Isaac Paredes. Jeremy Pena's like a superstar.
Mr. Pena, man. Mr. Pena is 6th in the league in WAR right now. Position player, the 6th best position player in the league. Better than Tatis Jr., better than Kyle Tucker, better than Lindor, better than Machado, better than Alonso, better than J-Rod, better than Ellie De La Cruz. Jeremy Pena has a better shortstop than Ellie De La Cruz.
Jeremy Pena has a Gold Glove. He was an ALCS MVP, a World Series MVP, and this year he's already surpassed any of his other 3 seasons in WAR.
Oh yeah, yeah. People slept on him because he's never really had a great offensive season. If you look at it, I thought that his rookie year was a great offensive season. It wasn't. It was about a league average hitting season, and his other 2 seasons. But he got so hot in the playoffs and towards the end of the season where it's doing so good, you kind of expected, oh, it's a rookie. He's going to do this. He's going to be an amazing offensive player. And the last 2 seasons, he just wasn't. League average hitter. So he's been a league average hitter his whole career. It's only been 3 seasons. He's 27 right now, but he's breaking out. 143 WRC plus. Shout out to Mr. Pena. Shout out to the fucking Devil Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays. I wish Jack was here to see it, man. Since the past month, this is going to blow people's minds. If you're a real ball knower, if you fancy yourself as a ball knower, this is going to blow your mind because even the ball knowers aren't going to know this ball. I'm the only ball knower who knows this much ball. Over the past month, the Rays are first in the MLB in runs, first in the MLB in ERA. They've scored the most runs and given up the least amount of runs, Mitchell. That's how you become the best team. They're first in RBIs, first in stolen bases, first in on-base percentage, first in slugging, first in OPS, first in average fastball velocity, second in average, and have the best record in baseball over the past month. That is the Tampa Bay Rays for you. So I know no one cares because they play in a minor league stadium and the players are all NPCs, but eventually, you play this good, those players are going to stop being NPCs and you're going to actually recognize them.
And then they'll be traded to the Dodgers.
Jonathan Aranda, we could probably get a lot for him right now. Drew Rasmussen's, Taylor Wells, Ryan Pepio, Jose Caballero. Which one of these guys is getting traded?
I honestly could see the Rays trading one of these hitters.
Oh, yeah.
This year and then get better.
Yeah.
Do what Craig Breslow thinks he's did for the Red Sox, but actually they trade him for like 4 AAA players. They call all of them up and they're just superstars.
But yeah, over the past month, they've lost 7 games. That's insane. They're just under the radar, been the best team in baseball, and it's not even really close. I mean, they've scored the most runs and given up the least amount of runs. That's when you know.
That'll make you.
That's when you know, Mitch.
Best team in baseball?
Don't sleep on the Rays. I mean, does it really surprise you? It doesn't really surprise you.
No, I think when we started this podcast, we said something about like the Rays are probably going to have this really good season and we're not going to know any of the players' names. And that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time. I mean, it happens every year except last year. It was like the first time the Rays didn't, string together in an insanely good regular season. So another reason the Yankees should be concerned. Hopefully Judgy wakes up. And don't forget about the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto, they just won 2 in a row against, who are they playing? The Diamondbacks? Yeah. They might sweep the Diamondbacks, which sucks for the Diamondbacks because they need it.
I think the
And they had a sick walk-off against them. Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette is actually good again. Wait, they have back-to-back home runs to win, to walk off. Dude, they were playing the Diamondbacks. They went into the last inning. And this is just after the Diamondbacks, we covered a last episode where they blew a 4-run lead and four batters after shutting out the Mariners for 8 2/3 innings. They go into a game with a 1-run lead, bring in the closer, strike out the first guy. It's looking good. Give up a home run to Bo Bichette. Fuck. Then give up a home run to Addison Barger. Back-to-back home runs to win the game for the Blue Jays. That is electric. Blue Jays, we don't forget about you. We also didn't forget about the Mets, man. Because, man, we've been so nice to the Mets all year and, just gave them all the shout-outs and, showed how good they've been doing and how they've overachieved. And even with Soto wanting to go home and not want to be there, they still overcame that. Even with the pitching injuries, they overcame that, had the best record in the National League for a while. But, man, what's going on with the Mets? They've lost 5 in a row.
Yeah. I mean, they faced the juggernaut Rays. That's acceptable.
True.
You go to that weird ballpark, you lose to the Rays. Wait, did they play in New York? I think they actually played in New York. I don't know what their excuse is there.
Yeah, they played in New York.
But now you're playing the juggernaut Braves, the best team in baseball, and there's not much you can do about it.
It's nice to see that. The Braves really are not a good team. They've been shit all year. But when we played the Mets, we can still win. And I like that. I'm okay with that. If the Braves have a terrible season this year and we miss the playoffs by 5 games and just disappoint like that, but we don't lose a game to the Mets, I can take that. I can handle that. I'm not going to say that's a successful season, but at least that's a nice additive for it because everyone has a bad season from time to time. At least if you have a bad season, you can beat the Mets. The Braves beat the Mets in game 1, and the game that like we've lost all year 100 times over. Like we were just getting shit on. Not getting shit on, but we gave up 4 runs. Schwellenbach didn't look too sharp. Offense couldn't do anything. It was 4-1 in like the 8th. It looked fucking over. And you had the bases loaded. We squandered a few opportunities. We had the bases loaded, no outs, and Austin Riley strikes out. Everyone on Twitter's like, "Oh, Austin Riley, all year, dude, you suck. You always strike out in clutch moments." Then Matt Olson comes up, strikes out. Oh, great. Here we go again. These two guys, they have videos of them on the dugout looking so sad. Ozuna's up. It's like, we all know what's going to happen. He's going to pop up to the catcher. Bang. Hits a double. We tie the game. Acuna. I got to know Acuna's stats in this series because Acuna by himself has basically won this series for the Braves. Not only does he make this insane catch in right field where Juan Slow-Mo just like totally has a brain fart and doesn't get back to the base, even though it's so clear he catches it. He doubles him up. What is his stats? He had a home run last night.
I mean, against the Mets, he has a 400, 667, 1,000 slash. So, I mean, in general, since coming off the IL, he has been the best hitter in baseball. And I don't think it's particularly close.
Sorry, Aaron Judge. Acuna's back. Some people are saying that Acuna's better than Shohei.
Yeah, so Acuna has a 233 WRC plus since getting back, 133% better than a league average hitter. The next best hitter is Caminero, and he's 106% better than a league average hitter.
Well, what about like Alex Verdugo? Because you put him in the 2 spot, and we get a baseball expert go on Twitter say how dumb the Braves are for putting him in the 2 spot. Mitchell, do you have something to say about that?
I'm very against it, but
since Alex Verdugo batted second, check the receipts. Mitchell's going to go delete some tweets right now. How stupid the Braves are for batting Verdugo second. He's batting 500. All right. The Braves are 3-0 when he starts a game and the 2-hole. When he pinch hits, 4-0. Do you add the pinch hitting in the 2-hole? I'm just saying that could be like an Acuna leadoff situation. That changes the whole franchise when they put that fucker in a leadoff. Verdugo, when he bats second, is unbelievable. Look at his splits when he bats second.
Like his career split?
No, 2025. Verdugo, when he bats second, this year, 917 OPS. Before that, he was batting leadoff, 632. Not good. But when he bats second, 917. He's a lead hitter when he bats second. That's the key. Verdugo in the 2 spot.
I mean, he's about to get designated for a
Shut the fuck up, Mitch. Do you not hear what I said? 4-0 when he bats in the 2 spot. So the Braves got a little momentum right now. 2 games against the Mets. We won 2 series. This is our 3rd series win in a row.
3rd series win in a row.
You can't win every game, man. You just got to win every series. That's the motto. And Alex Anthopoulos, Braves GM, goes on the record after the game 1 win against the Mets. Does his radio spot and has a great radio performance. I listened to all 22 minutes of it. He says, we are not selling. We want to be in a position to add. Offense has been most disappointing. We will not trade Chris Sale. Jurgis and Profar will get a second chance. Jurgis and Profar so far in the minor leagues, 2 rehab starts, looking pretty good down there.
Yeah.
4 for 7, 4 singles.
He might be what the Braves need.
I mean, they definitely need him. They're going to be putting him out there. I guess that goes against what I said about Verdugo, but you can fit him and Verdugo in there, can't you? Nah.
No. Not at all.
You can't. You can't really have both of those guys on the team.
You want Alex Verdugo playing center field?
No, I like Michael Harris out there in center, even if he's not hitting. And Acuna's got to be in right. Ozuna's really stuck at the DH spot, so it's look like
Gold Glover, Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to have to be either Verdugo or Profar to get the spots. I think they're going to give Profar a shot at it. I'm not super high on Profar coming back. I think, hey, I'm sure he's extra motivated to do well. I'm sure he's extremely motivated to have a great season.
I mean, he knows Braves fans are going to boo the hell out of him.
Yeah. And just for a career, I mean, you have 10 seasons that are mediocre, below average. You have 1 insane season, and then it's pretty much confirmed it's because of steroids. Like, I think in his head, he probably tells himself, like, I was good with or without steroids.
But he wasn't.
But now he can basically prove if he has a good season. I think we could probably say we're pretty good certain he's not on steroids anymore. if he has a good season, it's a legacy saver. Look what happened with Nelson Cruz. I mean, that guy got popped for steroids, and then he had 6 more insane seasons into his old age, and people forgot about it. Bartolo Colon, same thing. Profar could go on that path. I mean, those guys had really good numbers before, better numbers than Profar their whole career. But
no one ever really blinked an eye, did they? That Nelson Cruz was still an elite hitter at 40 years old.
I was blinking eyes, dude. I was saying that the whole time. I'm like, yo, this is not suspicious. The guy already got popped in the past. He's 40 fucking years old, having the best year of his career. Kind of suspicious. But whatever. Braves are looking better. They're saying they're not going to sell, which I believe Anthopoulos, when he says that, listening to that interview, was basically, he was talking about 2021. He was talking about how we got these players in, and I just had to make them believe that we had a chance, and that's when things turned around. So I think he's saying this for a reason, trying to send a message to the clubhouse, yo, we're not fucking selling. We're going to play to win this season. Do not, we got to go, guys. We got to go. I think if they start, the Braves have a massive stretch coming up. We play the Mets twice.
And play the Phillies.
And we get Miami in the middle of that, which is great. That's a nice little palate cleanser. So I like that. But we have 2 series against the Mets. It started off great, two in a row. Hopefully we can sweep it tonight. But let's say we eat shit after tonight, and then we have a terrible series against the Marlins, and Mets hand it to us, and then we lose to the Phillies. Then you can think about selling. I think the real issue though is who are you going to sell? I don't think Marcell Ozuna is going to get that much.
No.
I think Chris Sale could get you a lot, but you got Chris Sale under team control next year, right? At least next year. So if you trade Chris Sale, that's kind of giving away 2026.
Punting next year if you give up on Sale.
Unless you want to trade Sale, then try to sign some guys. But you're not really going to replace Chris Sale unless you do something amazing. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge that we got Chris Sale for Vaughn Grissom.
I think about that every day, actually.
That's an amazing move. The Braves have been so bad. There's so many people to criticize all year, but you really can't say anything about Alex Anthopoulos as a whole. Maybe you can say we could have done more in the bullpen this year or got another starter or something, whatever. But to get Chris Sale for Vaughn Grissom and all the other deals that he's done, that is not the guy to blame.
Chris Sale
is amazing.
At the beginning of the season, we're all panicking. His velo's down. He's blowing up. Man, this might be the end of Chris Sale. Since the beginning of May, he has a 1 ERA.
Did you see his start last night?
I was at a concert.
Who'd you see?
Kendrick and SZA.
Dude. Chris Sale's way more important.
If it was up to me, honestly, I would have watched Chris Sale, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Girlfriend's we have to see SZA.
Really was.
And Kendrick. Did he shit on Drake?
Not really.
He's above that.
I don't know.
You're not a big Kendrick fan?
I'm not a big Kendrick person.
But you had to buy the $500 tickets?
No, I didn't have to buy them.
I can assume those were not cheap tickets. Kendrick Lamar is a freaking box office guy. But so is Chris Sale, dude. 8 2/3 innings last night. Tried to get the complete game. They had him up to 115 pitches, but he shut the Mets down. It was pretty good to watch.
My least favorite Met. Doinky little hit. I watched the replay. I was, ugh.
Who?
Brandon Nimmo.
Oh, man.
Ruined it.
What, did he have a perfect? No, I'm sorry. That was in the 9th inning.
9th inning.
That took him out.
Could have been a complete game shutout.
Yep. So 8 2/3 yesterday for Chris Sale. And I'm going to say it. Best pitcher in baseball. All right. The stats aren't going to say it. The stats aren't going to say it right now. But Chris Sale, coming off a Cy Young, to pitch the way he's done since May, we're looking at a 1 ERA. You just said that. I'm sorry. Since May, he's got a 1 ERA, motherfuckers. He's the best pitcher in baseball. He's the new best pitcher in baseball.
You can't with this.
Fuck.
You can't.
Swept.
Best pitcher. So now I know my buttons. Chris Sale, you did it. But the measly Mets, baby. The measly Mets. You turn around and look, the Braves have an important stretch coming up, but the Mets also have an extremely important stretch coming up because they had to play the Braves, and so far it hasn't gone well. As we said, they lost 5 in a row, but after they play the Braves, I believe they're playing the Phillies this weekend, so they're going to Citizens Bank Park. Then they're coming back home to play the Braves again. So this is a stretch right now where they've already lost 5 in a row. So if this series against the Braves ends bad, they lose tonight, then they go to go to the Phillies, they get swept by the Phillies, then they come back, play Atlanta, they're defeated, they get swept again. That would be 5 plus 6 is 11 plus 3 is 14 losses in a row. And I'd say, man, you've got to be concerned if you're a Mets fan if you lose 14 in a row.
I think if you are any team, if you lose 14 in a row, you've got to be a little...
To your division rivals, too, at that, Mitchell.
I love how you've written them down, penciled them in for 14 straight losses.
It looks like they're about to lose 14 in a row, because if you look at it, they got to play the Braves tonight, and the Braves are hot, and they beat them twice in a row. They've already lost 5 in a row. Then they got to go to Philly, hardest place to play division rivals, and you're probably going to lose those 2 games. Then you got to play the Braves again. You're already defeated. That's 14 losses in a row. And it's tough if you lose 14 in a row. But yeah, I mean, honestly though, you got to be a little concerned if you're the Mets right now. You got a good cushion. You got a good cushion if you're the Mets. But did you see what Frank the Tank said?
Which time?
After
going to lose the division.
He said
the Braves by the All-Star.
He said that, yes, the season's over, and he knows more about the Mets than most.
He
people.
does know ball.
He says they're 14 games up right now. By the end of the season, will be 14 games back, below 500. Woo! So 1 game lead on the Phillies for the Mets. But life comes at you fast, man. Life comes at you fast if you're the Mets. Not saying it's time to worry. Everyone knew there was going to be a point in the season. Every team goes through stretches like this. But things in New York, when you're New York Mets, traditionally seem to snowball. Things are going good, everything's good. Things goes bad, the media gets in, the Frank and the Tank gets in your ear. You have a bad look. There's a controversy. Lindor sees a raccoon in the dugout. Now he's fighting Soto about dominoes or whatever the fuck. There's probably going to be some weird story. If the Mets lose 10 games, if the Mets lose 2 series in a row, there's always going to be a weird story that comes out that someone hates each other or some drama's happening. So watch out for that if they lose tonight and then don't win the series in Philadelphia. There will be a weird Mets story that comes out about someone not liking the team or not wanting to be there. There will be some dumb controversy. Without fail, that always happens.
I mean, if they lose the series to the Phillies, genuinely, the Phillies will be back in first place.
Yes. And then, I don't know, someone like Starling Marte is going to get a DUI or something. Like, there's going to be some weird thing that's going to come out of the New York Mets sphere if they don't win that series in Philadelphia. I would say this. I'll say this. If they lose tonight, they get swept by the Braves, then they lose 2 or 3 to the Phillies, that story will come out. If they win tonight and they win 1 in Philly, then they avoid. But if they get swept by either the Braves or the Phillies, that story's coming out. And I'd be a little concerned. Speaking of the Phillies, speaking of fucking crazy stories coming out, Castellanos got benched, bro. Castellanos.
I really want to know what he said.
Well, he spoke his mind. Apparently, he got taken out of the game for a defensive replacement late in the game, and said something to his manager, Rob Thompson, that, quote, crossed the line. He said something so fucked up that he got benched the next day. But yeah, that's the question is, what did you say that was so bad where you couldn't play the next day? I feel like Castellanos and a lot of guys probably say some mean things to the manager.
Yeah, I'm like, what would be so bad that Rob Thompson, a career baseball dude, would be like, that crossed the line. You're not playing.
Also, it ended a 236-game start streak for Castellanos, which is not a small deal. Like, that is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, if you bench some guy who gets a lot of rest, that's one thing. But you bench a guy who plays every single day for multiple seasons in a row, 236 games starting in a row, and you say, sorry, buddy, that streak is gone because you didn't handle your emotions correctly. Go to timeout.
And then hilariously, he gets the start the next day, makes a game-saving catch.
Yeah, makes a game-saving catch in the outfield. Well, to be fair, I mean, Castellanos famously said in the World Series after making a diving catch that he's like, yeah, in the regular season, I just kind of get bored. And I don't think I play as good at defense because I'm just kind of like bored out there. But in the playoffs, I'm like focused, so I try.
Well, then I'm
has actually good at defense.
That voice in his head that does not sound like Scooby-Doo. Tell him to do things.
Castellanos is one of the worst defenders in the league, if I'm correct.
He's been one of the worst his entire career.
Yeah, so taking him out for defense isn't necessarily the dumbest thing. I think he should maybe... But yeah, also Castellanos doesn't seem like a big analytics guy.
He probably looks at like defensive runs saved and goes, I have no errors. I haven't made an error this decade.
Yeah.
my defense is great.
So he's got no errors.
I don't actually know how far back you have to go to find his last error, but it's been a while.
Interesting. Guy makes no errors.
Except when he's getting taken out of the game.
Why would you bench him if he doesn't make errors?
All right, let's see. Oh, he made a few errors last year, but he had like a 2-year errorless streak.
Phillies are playing good ball too, by the way. After they had that terrible losing streak, after that amazing winning streak, what a streaky fucking team. So that I'm not even gonna try to like put this into words that make sense, but they won like 10 games in a row, then lost like 10 games in a row. Now they've won like 7 out of 8 games. Go back to May 16th. This is the streakiest team in baseball history.
I feel like I've been like trying to write them off, and I can't.
You can't write the Phillies off. I'm ready to put them ahead of the Mets. I've been waiting to do it all year. You know me. But like 1 game back behind the Mets. Mets got a tough game in Atlanta with Strider pitching. And then they go to Philadelphia. I know we don't have Harper over there in Philly, but bro, their starters are just next level. Like anytime you got Ranger Suarez, Christopher Sanchez, Zach Wheeler, Jesus Luzardo, Aaron Nola, Taijuan Walker. I just named 6 guys. I don't know who's got better starters than that. I'm sorry, Mitch. I hate to sound like a broken record. Yeah, the bullpen's shit, probably. That's their main issue is going to be the bullpen. But luckily for the Phillies, that's the one thing that's the easiest to fix. You know, at the deadline, trade for some guys, you can fix the bullpen. You know, you're trying to replace an entire bad offense, not as easy. Trying to get a starter at the deadline, not as easy. But you can pick up Felix Bautista from the Orioles. Like every team has a good reliever. The White Sox probably have an insane reliever that we've never heard of who they're going to trade. That's going to help someone go to the playoffs and win a World Series.
The Rockies have a couple of dudes who are actually pretty good.
Yeah, the Rockies yesterday. I saw that guy throwing 102. That guy
right behind Jacob Young.
This guy comes into the game, throws 102 like into the dugout, basically, like the most ridiculous pitch ever, and then just dots 3 straight 102-mile-per-hour fastballs right in the zone. Strikes him out. Sorry, Buster. You're out, man. Speaking of James out, man. The Dodgers and Padres, brother. Dude, so 1 week ago, we titled the podcast, quote, "Are the Dodgers in trouble?" That was some clickbait bullshit, dude. The fucking Dodgers were not in trouble. They immediately made us look like the dumbest fucking losers, clickbait idiots ever. The Dodgers since then are 7-2 against the Giants and the Padres. So they're 2 division rivals. That day while we recorded it, they beat the Padres, totally swept the narrative. But if they would have lost that game, they would have been in 3rd place. They won that game. And since these 3 series, against the 2 best teams in their division, 7-2 against them. They now have the most wins in the National League. Shohei is fucking pitching again. Glasnow is pitching again. Hasn't pitched a real game, but he's back in July. Blake Snell is pitching again. Hasn't pitched a real game, but he's back in July. They just bought the fucking Lakers for some reason. Just the Dodgers have the Lakers now.
I was like, what? Is this real shams? I was like, okay.
It's real shams, bro. They bought the Lakers. The Dodgers own the Lakers, and they have a half-game lead in the division. They had a half-game lead in the division when we said, quote, "Are the Dodgers in trouble?" Now they have a 4.5-game lead in the division. And it happened fast, man, but that's what happens in this game of baseball. They really did embarrass the Padres these 2 series.
Yeah, if you're San Diego, you're like, we got a chance to completely change the narrative. We're going to be that heated rival that Max Muncy thinks we're not. And the games were close. I mean, do they play one more today?
Yes, they do have one more.
Yeah. But like, yikes.
The Dodgers are up to a 99.5% chance to go to the playoffs. So they're getting close to 100%, which I can't wait for. Yeah, if you're the Padres now the Padres, you went in that series thinking like, here's our chance. Like we got 6 games in front of them. We always play the Dodgers tough. I think they won the first one or the second one. I can't remember. You were feeling good about your team. Now, Padres fans if I was Padres fans, I'd be like genuinely concerned. I know they had a great start to the season, but there's a lot of things to be worried about with the Padres, and the Dodgers kind of exposed it. So Shohei comes to the mound. Not only this, I was talking about how good the Dodgers have been. The Dodgers are playing the Nats and Rockies and Royals. That's their next 3 series. So you're telling me after those 9 games, I think you could pretty much wrap that division up.
You could bet that they win all 9 of those and feel okay about it.
I think they're going to win 8 or 7 at least comfortably. Nats, Rockies, and Royals next for the Dodgers. By the end of these 3 series, they will be probably 4.5. Oh, they're already 4.5. They could be 10. They could be 10 games up, maybe not, but 8 games up or something like that. So it's tough. And now Shohei's back. So Shohei comes back against the Padres game 1, same day as Ipe goes to prison. Shohei is pitching for the Dodgers. And he was fucking nasty. This was the most watched game in Major League Baseball history. I'm sorry. This was the most watched game in MLB.TV history. The most watched game ever. Shohei returning against the division rival, same day as the NBA Finals, and they set a viewership record. When the Dodgers announced he was pitching, tickets went up 141%, according to Vivid Seats. The average price went up to $294. Okay, so Shohei's first game in 22 months, he gave up 1 run in 1 inning, so he actually kind of did kind of bad, really.
This was the most electric inning I've ever watched, where the pitcher did not strike out a batter and gave up a run.
Didn't he strike out 1 guy?
He should have struck out 1 guy, but the first base umpire is blind and the call.
So he gave up 1 run in 1 inning, but he fucking hit 100 miles per hour, which I was not expecting that. He averaged 99 miles per hour.
His first pitch at 98, it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then it just kept getting faster and faster.
He averaged 99. His average in 2023 last season was 97. So 2 Tommy Johns in 2 years off of pitching, and he added 2 miles per hour to his fastball, which is, got to tip your cap to Shohei. He's not human. 2 hits and a wild pitch. Got fucked on a strikeout call. Whatever, gave up a run, which wasn't great, but the guy, he only threw 4 out of 6 pitches. That's another thing. No curve, no cutters. He only threw 1 split finger, so he wasn't even throwing his full pitch arsenal. But I got to say, just the 99 to 100, now I'm looking at that like, okay, Shohei's nothing to worry about. He's going to be a nasty pitcher. Because that's the thing, like, you get worried about the 2 Tommy Johns, and we went into all that research, how, like, there's very few examples. Only real 1 example of a guy coming back from 2 Tommy Johns, and that's Eovaldi. Everyone else has been terrible. But Eovaldi, when he came back from that second Tommy John, lost 0 miles per hour on his fastball. Guy like Spencer Strider, who hasn't looked so good after two Tommy Johns, he lost 2 miles per hour on his fastball. Walker Buehler lost close to 3 miles per hour on his fastball from coming back from 2 Tommy Johns. DeGrom's the only guy who's really done good with Eovaldi. He also lost 2 miles per hour, but he's throwing 97 miles per hour. And Shohei's lost 0 miles per hour. So to me, that's the biggest thing. You coming back from 2 Tommy Johns. We saw it with Strider so far in this season. 2 miles per hour on your fastball can make a big difference. And I think there's more to it than just the fastball. It's not just that it's 2 miles per hour slower. Sure. Like, is that big of a difference? I think that's a sign. If your fastball is 3 miles per hour slower, that probably means your curveball, your slider, your changeup, all that other shit is probably, maybe they're not slower, but worse. They're not cutting as much. You're not getting the same spin. You know, it's a big pie. It's an orchestra. That's what pitching is, an orchestra. Mozart. You got the curveball is the violins. The slider is the clarinet. The changeup, that's the percussion. You know, right? And then the fastball, everyone knows that's the saxophone. So it's like a band. It's like a big band, and they all have to work in tandem. And Shohei's the conductor. But if that fucking fastball, that fucking saxophone is working good, that's a good sign that everything else is going to be in check.
So in your orchestra, the saxophone is always playing.
I hang my head on the sax. Yeah, that's how I rock. But like, I'm kind of more of a new age kind of, Mozart wouldn't do that. I don't know if the saxophone was invented back then. He was more of a strings guy. Me, I'm more brass. I'm a little jazzy. I'm a little jazzy with it. I think Shohei's kind of like, me and Shohei are kind of similar in that sense. But I'm saying Shohei's throwing 99, so I'm feeling good. And then they fucking threw at Shohei, bro. What is up with that? I feel like this guy Randy Vasquez really needs to change his address or something. They might kill him. They intentionally threw at Shohei. 100% threw at him. Like, Rob Manfred might fucking make this guy pay. You don't throw at Shohei Ohtani after all he's done for the league.
100-game suspension for Vasquez.
130-game suspension for Vasquez. They didn't even throw him out of the game. So the beef continues with the Padres and Dodgers. At this point, you can't keep up with it. Like, if you wanted to go back and, like, where did this beef start? I don't fucking know. 2019 it started. Like, they have a little fucking skirmish every series they play. But this time it started with Pages. Pages got hit. Didn't like it. I think the Padres thought it was ridiculous that he didn't like it. Then they had the manager of the Padres, Mr. Schlilt, say, quote, "Who the fuck do you think you are, Andy Pages, you nobody, you piece of shit." Next day, Ohtani gets hit. I'm sorry, Tatis gets hit after that. So they hit Pages. Dodgers maybe retaliate and hit Tatis for hitting Pages. We don't know. Tatis looks pissed. Then Ohtani gets hit. That was blatantly on purpose. Warnings are given out, but that's not enough. Mr. Dave Roberts comes out, gets ejected. And then I don't even have the rest in it, but there was someone else got hit.
Pages got hit again.
And then I remember there was a time where someone on the Padres got hit, and they are complaining, why aren't we getting ejected? So everyone's getting hit. Some of them are on purpose, some of them aren't. But there's definitely some intentional pitches being thrown. I mean, Shohei's was the most obvious, and it was like the first pitch of the at-bat, or maybe the second, but right in the ass. They were coming after it. You expected that. And I like to see it, man. I like to see the fireworks. I would say the Dodgers won the beef for sure.
I don't feel like we get enough of these types of beefs anymore. So it is kind of nice when it's a rivalry game and you've got kind of tensions flying in a June game.
Yeah. I mean, it's the biggest rivalry in baseball. One of the biggest ones. One of the most entertaining ones for sure in sports. Every series, there's some little beef going on. And then let me, you know what happened with Andy Pages, right? I think he hit 2 bombs after that. Yeah, 2 home runs the next game. After you hit him on purpose, you wake up Andy Pages. Andy Pages is awake. Andy Pothead, 2 home runs. You can't say enough about this kid. I mean, I wasn't really following Andy Pages too closely, but I remember I saw a lot on Twitter be like, bro, we were gonna DFA this guy. Like, we thought Pages was done. He's been like their second most valuable player this year.
He had a really rough April up until like April 20th.
Oh, okay.
And then ever since then, he has been really, really good. He plays pretty solid defense in center, if I'm not mistaken, and he's hitting ridiculously well.
3rd most valuable player on the Dodgers. Yeah, that'll do. But fuck, man, you get swept by the Padres. You lose 2 out of 3, then you lose 3 out of 3. That is 5 out of 6. You got another one tonight, so you could avoid the sweep and salvage something. But fuck, man, it's not like this Dodgers team is at full strength, dude. They got 0 pitchers. But then you look at the Padres, it's like, who are they throwing out? Like, if you look at the pitching matchups in this series, can you find that real quick? They were abysmal. The guys the Padres are throwing out right now are not major league pitchers, or at least not name brand pitchers.
Didn't they have Dylan Cease in one of these games?
Dylan Cease is their best. Yeah, obviously, Dylan Cease is a big name pitcher. Dylan Cease got paid a shit ton of money, but look at Dylan Cease's numbers this year. He's got like a 5 ERA.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease is pitching terribly.
Dylan Cease went game 1 against Ohtani in a bullpen game. Randy Vasquez went game 2. He only 5 innings. Then Jeremiah Estrada kind of blew it. And then in game 3, they had Stephen Kolek.
Not sure I'm familiar with your games, Kolek.
I mean, this is the guy who
they already sent him down.
threw a complete game
against
the Rockies and then has not been very good.
Okay, Kolek. So they got Ryan Bergert. Not familiar with your game. Stephen Kolek. Apologize. And Randy Vasquez. That's their bottom 3. That's their 3 of their 5 starters. Randy Vasquez has pitched good this year, but they won't let him pitch more than 4 innings. As soon as this guy gets to the 4th inning, the Padres are like, got to get this fucking guy out of the game. They do not trust him at all. So that tells me what I need to know about Randy Vasquez. Then Dylan Cease, who's like, should be their ace, has been dog water. Excuse my French. What's his ERA? 4.69 ERA, but 2.94 whip. That's pretty crazy. So
Whip or FIP? I mean, 2.49 whip would be horrendous.
Sorry, his whip is horrendous, 1.326. we'll let that go for now. But 4.69 ERA, which is not good. But his FIP, 2.94. Is he getting unlucky or is cease deceased?
Probably more to the deceased. I feel like his strikeout numbers lower his FIP normally, but he normally has an ERA worse than his FIP.
So you're sending the cease and desist. It's time to wrap it up.
Not quite, but I think he's not going to have the ERA that his FIP would indicate. And then the Padres are also missing Michael King, who's been out since mid-May.
Huge.
And they say won't be back until the All-Star break.
Huge. That's a huge loss because Michael King is a real deal pitcher, one of the best in the league, I think. And then, Musgrove's out for the season with Tommy John, and Darvish is nowhere to be found. I don't know what Darvish is doing. They're saying elbow inflammation. I think it's been a lot of different things with Darvish. I'm not sure if you're hanging your hat on Darvish these days.
No.
But, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Just the vibes around San Diego, you came into this series feeling good, and then you kind of look at it you get beat by your division rival who you want to compete with, the team that you're going to have to beat to get to the World Series. And, the Dodgers have no pitchers. They're all hurt, and they just mollywopped your ass 5 out of 6 games. And it wasn't like the Padres on paper, we knew going in weren't going to be as strong as they had in the past. Musgrove's gone. They lost some pitchers. They're not really spending like they were. The big one is Xander Bogaerts, who the Padres fans are ready to kill this guy, Xander Bogaerts. What's Xander Bogaerts' contract right now?
He's making $25.45 million this year and every year until 2033.
So how many years is that?
That's another 9 seasons.
So he's got 9 more seasons of getting $26 million a year. 9 more fucking seasons, dude.
He's one of 7. There are only 7 contracts that are longer than his. There are only, I think, 16 contracts that run through 2033. And I mean, these guys you feel pretty good about, right? Tatis, Will Smith, Trey Turner, Machado, Ohtani, Bobby Witt. The one horrendously bad one is Wander Franco.
Yeah.
But the Rays are probably going to be out of that contract in a matter of months. And then you got Bogaerts, who, when he got signed, people were like, this was an overpay by San Diego, and he's only gotten worse every year.
Yeah. So what's Bogaerts hitting right now?
So he has a 227 batting average. He has a 314 slugging.
And he's not good at defense, right?
This year he's been okay.
Is he playing short?
He's playing short now. So the Ha-Sung Kim went to Tampa, and so they moved him back to short. But that was another thing, was when he signed, people were very uncertain about his defense, and then his second year with the Padres, they moved him to second.
Yeah, it was always questions dude, they have 5 shortstops. What do you need Xander Bogaerts for? But it was our boy, bro. Our boy was dying and was I want to win a World Series. I'm going to give any fucking contract out possible. I will overpay anyone to get a shortstop. We're better with Xander Bogaerts. Yeah, I'm going to overpay him. Fuck it. I need to win a World Series. I'm going to die. And he died. So, and that's fucking tragic. The problem is now these his siblings or whatever, they're not going to run it like that, balls to the wall. I don't think that they're not dying yet. They don't seem to have that same push where a contract like this on this team, the way the Padres have spent before. Why am I blanking on his name? The owner for the Padres.
I see his face and I can't remember it.
I keep trying to say Preller, but that's the GM.
Peter Seidler.
So now the new Seidler family, they're not spending the money they were.
I mean, what's worse too is that the Padres have Machado under the contract for the same length, and they have Merrill. I mean, Merrill's really good.
Yeah, Merrill's.
And then they have Darvish under contract for another 3 or 4 years. They've got some bad contracts.
And it really worries you because it doesn't seem like this is the type of team that's going to spend more in spite of those contracts.
They are definitely not. This is the window right now.
If you had Seidler still in there, he'd be like, well, fuck it. We'll just sign another $100 million. I don't fucking need it. And you'd be good. But now you're staring at one of the worst contracts in baseball $26 million a year for 9 more years, like that doesn't give you a lot of flexibility moving forward. Like, what other players can you add to help out Tatis, Machado, and Merrill, who are the big three staples in that lineup? That's probably one of the best big threes you can have in MLB. But Machado's not getting any younger. It's just, yeah, I mean, Xander Bogaerts is definitely the X factor on this team in terms of, like, if Xander Bogaerts returns to what he was, like, having him as the 4th, 5th best hitter in your lineup is, like, insane. But if he's going to be what he is now, which is way below average hitter and getting worse every year for the past 3 years, and you're paying him like a top 10 player in the league, you're kind of fucked on the money end of things. I'm a little concerned right now for the Padres. I'm not sure that lineup is looking as deep. I know because, I mean, I was watching this series. There's a lot of guys in that lineup who I was like, who's this guy? And they're out of Merrill, and Xander doesn't scare you. And Luis Arraez right now doesn't scare you either.
Everyone's like, wow, he hasn't struck out all month. And it's like, well, he's hitting 270 and he has no power either. And he doesn't take walks, so maybe he should strike out.
And then you got fucking Martin Maldonado taking at bats, and like that's never a good sign. He did smoke one yesterday. Another funny thing is the game yesterday. Xander Bogaerts, like, I was ready to fucking do the whole redemption arc because he roped the game tying double to like save the game, and then just instantly the Dodgers just hit a walk off home
Will
run.
Smith is a pinch hitting cheat code apparently.
Yeah, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, if you're the Padres, you're looking at the Dodgers like, yeah, it's maybe. Anything can happen in the playoffs, but to lose those games and where the Dodgers are at with those injuries and you still can't beat them is like not a good sign. But yeah, we're wishing Ipe the best in his time in prison. Did you see the College World Series last night?
No.
Yesterday? Bro. Dude. I feel so bad for this kid in the College World Series. So Arkansas Razorbacks. The same college Bill Clinton went to. I think. Maybe not, but he was an Arkansas fan. I think he went to Georgetown. It's not important. This isn't about Bill Clinton. It's about the Razorbacks. Woo, pig. So they're like one of the best teams in college baseball. Have been one of the best teams in college baseball, from my understanding, for the past 5-10 years, maybe. But dude, they choke every time. Apparently, they go to the College World Series. The Razorbacks just choke, bro. They choke on their own back. And they're playing. Who were they playing last night, Mitch?
LSU.
They played LSU. You know, Livy Dunn, Paul Skeens, juggernaut. SEC, don't mess with me. SEC baseball. It means more. They're winning 5-3 in the 9th inning. They get a ground play ball to the shortstop. Easy double play ball. Did I say ground play ball?
I think you did.
They had a ground play ball to the shortstop. We've all seen those. But this one was a ground play ball, double play ball. For some reason, he throws it to third. So he just gets 1 out instead of throwing it to second where he could have got 2. He gets the lead runner when they're up by 2 runs anyway. So it was just dumb baseball move to throw that to third. And I could be wrong on the stats. I believe that was the 9th inning too, 5-3, but that cost him. And then I think it was the next batter hits a fucking line drive to the left fielder for the final out of the game. Final out of the game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, final out of the game. This guy trips and the ball gets by him. They tie the game because the fucking outfielder tripped in the College World Series. Next guy comes up, but it's still tied. They had another ball that, like, honestly could have been caught. I don't think it'd be an error, but it goes off the second base's glove and they miss, bro. Like, that left fielder, bro, I really do feel bad for him. To lose because you tripped and made an error because the moment just, I don't know what happened, but fuck, man. And then apparently that's like the 4th time the Razorbacks have done that. So if you're if you're an Arkansas Razorbacks baseball fan,
or if you're a college baseball prospect or high schooler and you're trying to figure out where to go to college,
don't go there. Don't go to Arkansas. They're cursed. Because I was reading, because I don't follow college baseball for shit, but I've been watching these games, been putting them on, following a little bit, and following on Twitter somewhat, and like they're saying like this is not even like a top 5 choke for the Arkansas Razorbacks baseball, and I'm like, dude, that's the worst choke I've ever seen in my life. What do you mean? They're like, no, it's nothing. The Razorbacks do this every time. So shout out to the Razorbacks. They're done. They just got eliminated. They're fucked. Fuck. Man.
That's right after their pitcher threw one of the best games
Yeah, the
in
pitcher
baseball history, probably.
threw 19 strikeouts against Murray State at Old Kentucky. He's electric. What's his draft pedigree?
First round.
First round? Braves?
Possibly.
Hey,
Mid-first round?
Braves love to get those Southern guys. Right?
Yeah.
Why am I blanking what team he's from? Louisville? Wait.
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Sorry, that was Arkansas. Okay, yeah. We're talking about Arkansas. Sorry, guys.
I think that's time
Time to end the podcast.
to end the podcast.
Well, if Mitchell says it's time to end the podcast, then I guess we'll have to end it. We got another choice. This guy fucking calls the shots around here. We know him. He's a podcast producer, podcast helper, and he's a podcast ender.
But according to Nolan Dacey, Jack is the cornerstone of the podcast. So
All right, yeah. Nolan Dacey. We're going to get your IP address, and it's going to go back to...
West Virginia.
Yeah. Podcast needs Jack. Good. Jack fucking, dude. How many YouTube accounts do you have, bro? Give us your top 3 worst jerseys of all time. Can't do that off the top of my head.
I really just put this in because I'm watching the Mets play the Braves.
Oh,
and I really
terrible.
I love their road jersey. But I just think about their blue one. And I'm like, how can you have a gap that's so big between, like, they have a really good primary jersey and a really bad alternate jersey. So I really only put this in so I could gripe about those ugly blue Mets jerseys. Because their primary is really nice.
The pinstripes are good.
Yeah, the whole, like, set up until that ugly blue
It's the
jersey.
blue one. And the pirate, the Pirates have the exact same jersey but black, and it looks stupid as shit too.
Oh yeah.
It's the same jersey.
Well, they don't have the pullover. But I think my issue with the Mets is it's impossible to read, and it's this ugly pullover design.
Yeah, get back to the black jerseys. Black jerseys on Fridays. Those were nice. Yeah, Mets jerseys. Mets jerseys. I hate those uniforms. The Diamondbacks jerseys in 2015 or 16 were the worst.
Oh, the stripe.
Yeah, those were
Yeah.
the worst uniforms ever created. Like, I never understood why they had blue in their logo. Teal.
Well, it's
Now it looks kind of nice, but like back then when they had the fucking weird gradient pants that like
Those are bad.
faded, crazy. They really thought they did something. Paul Goldschmidt.
They thought they were starting a new uniform trend, and everyone went, "That is so ugly," and then they got rid of it.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers to the Diamondbacks. All right, anything else you want to cover? You see Roddy Tellez stole a base, that fat
Yeah, I
fuck?
watched that and I was like, "No way."
Oh, that's another stat before we get out of this. The Marlins did not hit a home run at home in a month. That's pretty good. May 20th until June 18th, they didn't hit one home run at home. And the Yankees got to extra innings 6 times this year, and they've only scored once. That's another
Over
thing.
9 innings.
Yeah.
I saw that in the notes and I went, "That can't be."
Well, I
true."
felt that meant like they went 6 times and they scored once, meaning
They've had
they
six,
scored 1 run. They scored like 9. I don't know.
They've played 6 extra inning games, 9 extra inning innings, and they've only scored 1 total run.
All right. That's terrible. Yankees, you need to do better. Mind your own business. All right. We'll see you on Monday. Oh, wait. We have to, we'll see you on Monday, everybody. See you guys. Thank you.